Good evening, everyone. I am CA Abhilasha Bhushan Murray, moderator for this webinar. We are delighted to welcome you all in the webinar, which is being organized by the CPE Committee of ICAI. It is my pleasure to be a moderator for this webinar on emerging opportunities for CAs and Excel utilities for tax audit. In a short while, we'll start this webinar. First, I would like to apprise you about the CPE Committee. The profession of chartered accountancy is growing leaps and bounds, and its phenomenal growth has brought the profession at the forefront. Today, our profession has acquired an indispensable position in the business and economy. ICAI continuously aims at developing knowledge edge so that the members stand out to the expectations of the society. To achieve this objective, the CPE Committee of ICAI has been continuously striving for perfection, integrity, and knowledge, which make the word chartered accountant synonymous with excellence in service. In this direction, CPE Committee has always been proactive to the emerging needs of its members, enabling them to acquire contemporary knowledge and skills to face the challenges effectively by organizing CPE programs and providing adequate opportunities. The program for this evening is as follows. We have two sessions of 1 hour each, and the topics are Excel utility for tax audit documentation, review, and error detection. And the second topic would be emerging opportunities for CAs in detailed project reports, industrial subsidies, industrial consultancy, and artificial intelligence. I would like to introduce before you our first speaker, CA Lalit Om Prakash Tambi sir. He has more than 22 years of experience in income tax, GST, Maharera, corporate laws and NBFC matters and information system audit, etc. He has delivered multiple sessions at various professional forums and business associations and has also developed various Excel macro-based tools for professionals. Today, he would be enlightening us on Excel utility for tax audit documentation, review, and error detection. Without taking much of your time, I hand over the session to Lalit Tambi sir. Please, sir.
Thank you, madam. Just a confirmation. Am I audible properly?
Yes, Laliji, you are audible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chairman of our beloved CPE committee, C. Purushottam Khandelwalji, Vice Chairman C. Gyanchandji Mishraji, C. Ayush Sawaniji, my co-speaker for today's webinar, and C. Abhilasha Muliji, moderator for this webinar, C. Ajitnath Tiwariji, Secretary of CPE Committee, and esteemed office bearers of the CPE Committee, ICI, and honorable seniors in the profession, my dear colleagues. First of all, it's a heartfelt thank you from my side to spare time and giving me opportunity to express my views on this particular subject and also express the work I have done in this particular utility with respect to the tax audit. And we start with our technical session right now. Now today's session, the topic is about Excel utility for a tax audit documentation, review, and error detection. Now we all know that tax audit season is on annual, and we are all preparing tax audit reports. And the most important part, which goes with this, is the accuracy and completeness of the audit report. In these times of, say, a little bit of haste, sometimes errors creep in, and those are always inadvertent, but later on it is very difficult to correct them, because we all know that tax audit report can only be revised only on certain clauses, and there is no error correction mechanism available for revising the tax audit report. So ensuring the accuracy of these tax audit reports is very much important for all of us. And generally, what we as a professionals do is But our article clerk or staffs, they prepare the audit report, the 3CD, and we generally carry out an analytical and technical review of that report, so that we find out that if there are certain inconsistencies or errors. Likewise, we know the SSC's business in and out, and we know the SSC personally also. And so we try to find out the inconsistencies or say misreportings and try to weed out the errors. And the object of this Excel utility, which has been designed and developed by me and my son Karthik, is a simple Excel-based utility which works on all MS Office versions for ensuring the accuracy of the tax audit report and as well as technical compliances which we need to follow. We'll see the details in the session to come. And I'm happy to share with you, this is the 4th year of publication of this utility, and we are updating this with added features every year. Like this year, we have added a feature of comparison with ITR. A simple downloading mechanism is in place that please visit the link given on the screen and fill up a simple form. Receive download link and activation code instantly in your email. And we do update this utility when generally schemas are changed by the department or the valuable feedback comes from the users. And I'm really happy to share that professionals around 17 states are using this utility and sharing their updates and feedbacks with us. Now, a simple discussion on installation and activation process of this Excel-based utility is that when you fill up a form, you receive a download link in your email. That file is an XLSM micro enabled file, and this is the master file you receive in your email. You can save this to any desired folder in your PC. After opening the utility, please enable the macros and click on Activate Utility button in the front sheet. Activation code is also delivered in your email along with the link to download, and activation code upon entrance instantly activates the utility. After successful activation, utility automatically generates a template file. This template file is your regular file. You need not use master file anytime or every time. This template file can be used multiple times for multiple clients. And let me give a simple demo to you with respect to this activation of this utility. This is the Excel utility as it looks down. And on the first screen, after downloading, we have opened this master file and we click to activate utility. We enter the activation code received in email. And there is an instant activation. And after this instant activation, a template file is prepared. This is not XLTM. This is a template file, which is a workable file for our processing of this 3CD data. We now open this template file. This was a simple process of activation of this utility. But the most important part is that what we are going to discuss in detail are the key features of this utility. What this utility exactly gives or exactly does with reference to our work of tax audit is the question. The first and foremost feature of this utility is that it assists tax auditor and SSC in preparation of 4 important tax audit documents. They are appointment letter, engagement letter, management representation letter and management representation forwarding letter for tax audits. We all know that in the haste of completing the tax audits and ensuring accuracy of work, sometimes documentation lags behind, or we postpone that we will be completing it on a later on stage. And so based on the 3CD data, this Excel utility prepares audit documentation in a readily downloadable and printable manner, so that immediately on finalization of tax audits, we can prepare the documentation and file it, take printout, and update our records in this behalf. Now, the second aspect, and which is very important aspect of this utility, is that there are certain inherent flags in Form 3CD. In the 3CD JSON schema, based on our inputs of specific clauses, there are certain inherent flags. Those flags in 3CD schema may have been used by the department for the purpose of identifying, say, scrutinous cases or for other purpose of data collection. So we have to be cautious that which flags are being inherently going in our 3CD JSON, so that errors can be minimized. So this utility assists the SSE and the auditor to identify and review critical flags in Form 3CD. We'll see the details in the slides to come. It's just an overview of what this utility offers. The third aspect is compliance check with ICAI publications. We all know that at the time of this preparations of tax audits, we definitely read two books. Those are, one of those is ICAI Tax Audition Audit Quality Review Board publication regarding commonly found errors and non-compliance in tax audit reports. And the second one, and important, is Guidance Note on Tax Audit under Section 44AB. Now, both these publications, they give some commonly found error and non-compliances in tax audit report. This Excel-based utility helps an auditor to identify whether the commonly found errors mentioned in PAQRB publication and the guidance note are reflected in our 3CD JSON or not. And if they are reflected, it helps to weed out those errors by flagging in by red mark. Let's see the details in the schedules to come. The fourth important aspect is analytical review of 3CD. We all know that sometimes arithmetical errors crop up in 3CD. For the simple error may be like, say, quantitative details. The opening stock purchase minus sales should be equal to closing stock. But due to, say, arithmetical mistake, that is not matching up. Or maybe that inadvertently, instead of reporting acceptance of loan in Section 269 SS as by account pay check, inadvertently the same has been reported as by other mode. Or, for an example, say amount admissible as interest and salary to partners has been wrongly put in the column of amount inadmissible. Now, all these small mistakes carry huge havoc when these returns are processed or tax audit reports are processed. So, this utility helps auditor and SSC to review Form 3CD of the current year with respect to some critical aspects and to correct the errors as and when found. The fifth facility in this utility is comparative analysis with previous year's Form 3CD. Now, in this utility, we can import previous year's 3CD also, and this utility will match up previous year's 3CD and current year's 3CD with respect to certain critical aspects. For example, say change in method of accounting, or a simple aspect like closing stock in quantity of previous year is not matching with opening stock in quantity of previous year. So on certain critical aspects, it may flag out common errors or certain analytical errors or technical errors also. The last useful aspect of this utility is matching with ITR. Now, when we prepare, we all know we prepare tax audit report, we enumerate certain allowances or disallowances over there. And those allowances or disallowances do carry their impact in income tax return to be filed maybe at the time of finalization of audit report, with audit report, or later on in the month of October also. Now, we all know that income tax department has formulated some validation rules for ITRs. Those validation rules to check whether allowances and disallowances mentioned in 3CD to have reported or carry their impact in ITR also. Now, with respect to this utility, helps SSE or tax consultant to tally those allowances or disallowances. Those are mentioned in Form 3CD with the corresponding income tax return and flags out the differences or mismatches. So these are the key features of this utility on 6 aspects. It helps us. Now, if we go by the sheet structure for carrying out these 6 functions, there are 10 useful sheets in this Excel utility. The first sheet is with respect to the instruction sheet, and now these 4 sheets like draft MRL, MRL forwarding letter, appointment letter, and engagement letter. These 4 sheets pertain to the audit documentation part and with their specific objective of preparation of these 4 documents. Now, second sheet is with respect to this inherent flags in 3CD. Third aspect is the compliance check, that is commonly found errors according to TAQRB publication and guidance note compliance. This is the CFE flag sheet. It carries 2 parts. The first part is review of observations of TAQRB, and second part is with respect to the requirements as per guidance note on tax audit. Now, for this, the analytical review of current year's 3CD. This sheet is with respect to that particular purpose. This 3CD comparison sheet is for comparing previous year's 3CD and current year's 3CD. And the last one, 3CD ITR, is with respect to comparison of current year's ITR and current year's 3CD. Now, this is a sheet oriented program or software, we may say, that sheets carry specific functions. Now, important part is you may not complete all the sheets, right? Like now, we all must have got the point that there are 3 inputs for this utility to work on all the functions. The first input is current year's form 3CD. It may be 3CA 3CD or 3CB 3CD. For the sake of convenience, I'll call it on 3CD only. JSON file generated from any software can be imported into this utility. That JSON file may be validated or unvalidated. For example, a draft may have been prepared and we want to check what errors have been cropping up. So, for current year's 3CD, we can use validated or unvalidated file with any software. Second input is previous year's 3CD. Again, JSON file generated from any software can be imported, but please ensure here that previous year's JSON which has been filed with ITD is used, because we are using it for the comparison sake with current years. So better to use the uploaded JSON with ITD for the previous year. The third input is current year's ITR form JSON file. Again, JSON file generated from any software can be imported. Please ensure that validated ITR JSON is imported so that a proper comparison is made. Now, these three are basic inputs. 3 JSON files are inputs for this particular software. Again, as I said, that the last two, that is previous year's form 3C, 3CD has a limited role of comparison, as well ITR has a limited role of comparison, and these two are not compulsory to be imported into the utility for the purpose of analyzing the current year's 3CD. We can analyze current year's 3CD independently without importing these two. Now, we will have a detailed discussion on features of this utility, and for that purpose, I'll give you a little demo also regarding the facility which this utility offers. The first important work is with respect to audit documentation. Now, how this feature works? First of all, we import current year's 3CD JSON file at a click of a button on this draft MRL sheet. Just on a click of a button, this will start or trigger a visible process of preparation of these 4 audit documents: MRL, appointment letter, engagement letter, and MRL forwarding letter. So this is how it's a reverse process of engineering MRL from 3CD, and it will prepare a very detailed MRL. Reason being that all the aspects which have been represented by management or reported by management in form 3CD find place appropriately in the management representation later. This is the process of preparation of this management representation letter going on, and at the completion of this process, this utility asks some relevant details to complete the documentation part. The details are self-explanatory, and let me be quick with this. Now, these details are with respect to the dates of appointment letter, acceptance, date of acceptance of appointment letter, date of issue of engagement letter, date of receipt of engagement letter by the auditee, date of management representation letter, date of receipt of management representation letter by auditor, provision for tax audit fees, amount of gratuity paid, method of valuation of stock, whether inclusive or exclusive, and the balance of cash in hand. Now, these details are necessary for preparation of some of the clauses of MRL as well to for analytical review of 3CD, and that is why these are required to be mentioned. And with this, our MRL is ready with respect to all the clauses, and these green cells are open for data entry, and this entire MRL is editable, so you can review and edit it and complete it. With this, simultaneously, our MRL forwarding letter, appointment letter, and engagement letter are also ready. In this green cell, there are some minor data inputs, and based on this, these documents are ready, and on a single click, they can be saved with a client-specific and assessment year Excel file After saving this as an Excel file, there is also an option to export this MRL and other 3 audit documents as a printable PDF file, and this can immediately be printed on client letterhead or our letterhead. So this is a printable PDF file generated out of this MRL utility. So this is the workflow regarding the audit documentation part of this particular utility. Now, the second important part, now we move to this technical checks, as we may say. These technical checks are divided in 2 parts. One is inherent flags, as we talked about, identifying the inherent flags in 3CD. And second is with respect to the commonly found errors as per ICI publications. Now, we first of all have a look towards the inherent flag sheets in this utility. Now, there are 28 flags which are inherent in Form 3CD. Now, some of these flags may be correct or may be wrong based on our data entry. For example, the JSON which I have used here, it is a partnership form. But inadvertently, I have mentioned in clause 9 of Form 3CD, whether shares of members are determinate or unknown, I have answered it yes. So now this 3CD is carrying this flag of yes answer, whereas this is not applicable to this SSE. And that is why this utility is flagging, though the flag is yes, but the utility is marking it as red, and the reason for red mark given is SSE status is not an AOP. So it helps us to just review those flags, whether they are correct or wrong, and we can amend the 3CD data accordingly. Similarly, we may have a look at the second flag. Now, this flag is with respect to deviation from section 145A. You may remember that at the time of preparation of MRL, when we were completing that, we have selected method of valuation as exclusive. Now, when we select this exclusive method of valuation, it is a deviation from 145A. So, when exclusive method is followed, the deviation is there, so there may not be any impact on profit or loss as our guidance note specifies. Based on that calculation, there may not be an impact, but there is a deviation from 145A. So, in this case, 3CD mentions that there is no deviation from 145A. That is why the flag is no, but it is red mark. Reason being the SSE is following exclusive method. So we need to review whether this flag is correct or incorrect. So this is the method followed by this utility to help us regarding identification of different kinds of flags in our 3CD. For example, say inadvertently someone has selected say yes in say income chargeable under section 56(2) subsection 9. That is para 39, para 29A of Form 3CD. In that case, this flag would go yes, right? And while reviewing, the tax auditor may come across that, oh, there cannot be income under this section for this particular SSE. So how this flag is going yes? So in that case, we may correct the flag and revise in the sense change the Form 3CD. Now, the next part of a technical review is with respect to the CFE sheet, that is commonly found errors in tax audits. Now, these errors are compiled in CFE flag. This is the sheet of CFE flag. Now, the first part of the sheet is review of some of the observations of commonly found errors as per ICA Taxation Audit Quality Review Board. The relevant publication is Study on Compliances in Reporting in Tax Audit, which was published in June 2022. Now, we see that the first clause is red flagged. Now, let us understand why this is red flagged. Now, the publication, TAQRB publication says that paragraph related to SSC's responsibility and tax auditor's responsibility as required by guidance note in respect of SS 700 not mentioned in Form 3CA 3CB. If we look at the relevant publication, this is the ICA publication, which says or observes that many of the tax audit reports do not have paragraph relating to SSC's responsibility and tax auditor's responsibility as required by guidance note in respect of SS 700. Now, this observation is flagged out here that whether this 3CD contains this error. Now, the utility says yes. The reason for red marking is that for this particular paragraph, ICA guidance note on tax audit use illustrative paragraph on page 44 to 46. In that particular paragraph, a keyword fair presentation is used. Now, this utility searches for this particular keyword, and if it is not found in para 3 of Form 3CA or para 5 of Form 3CB, then this error is red marked. So, this is the method on which the utility works based on certain keywords. Now, let us look at the second aspect. The second aspect says that SSC is liable to register under indirect taxes, but registration details are not mentioned. This is with reference to clause 4 of 3CD. That the question is answered yes, but the registration details are not mentioned. Now, this again was observed by TAQRB in their publication, right? So, this is the observation which says registration under all indirect laws which have been mentioned under companies have not been reported, and registration numbers under indirect tax laws, some which are based on SSC's PAN, did not match with PAN reported in Form 3CD. Now, see the third number, serial number, it catches this observation of the ICA TAQRB. The error says registration numbers under the indirect tax clause, some which are based on SSC's PAN, did not match with PAN as reported in clause Form 3CD. This utility checks whether the registration number, for example, the GST registration number, contains accurate PAN of the SSC. If say there is the interpolation has happened between say one alphabet or other, or one number or other, it will flag out the error that this observation of TAQRB is being triggered up in this particular 3CD, and we need to correct that. Now, let us come to the next aspect of this technical review, which is with respect to the guidance note on tax audit. Now, the guidance note on tax audit also gives certain observations or requirements. For example, in clause 13D with respect to ICDS, the guidance note on tax audit says that for the purpose of replying clause D, that is the ICDS clause, tax auditor should obtain draft computation of total income and disclosures required under ICDS. Based on information and books of accounts, the tax auditor should consider whether any adjustment is required to be made to profit and loss, and if answer is in affirmative, to state otherwise or no. So, while reporting, auditor has to consider draft of income computation provided by the SSE, and this fact should be mentioned in audit report in paragraph 3 of 3CA or 5 of 3CB. So, this is a requirement of our guidance at page 78 and 79. Now, this utility checks whether in paragraph 3 of audit form 3CA or paragraph 5 of form 3CB, there is a reference to draft computation of income. If it doesn't find the keyword draft computation, then it flags out that there is an error in this 3CD. Similarly, the other errors have been also classified based on respective keywords. Some keywords are searched, and if they are found, then there is no error, and if they are not found, then it flags out the error. Well, not necessarily we may all use similar kinds of keywords, but this is just an indicative proposition. Your 3CD may or may not contain that particular error or that particular keyword. You may word it on a different language, and that is all possible. But this is just an indicative proposition that if there is yes flagged out as an error, then you may kindly review this particular sheet. If there is no error, then you may leave that particular number. So this helps in identifying commonly ICI TAQRB publication 13 clauses of errors mentioned in that publication and 13 clauses with respect to the guidance note on tax audit revised regarding the disclosures under various parts. Now the next part of our technical review is with respect to the current year's 3CD as it is. Now we may also review our 3CD for apparent inconsistencies. For example, sometimes we may wrongly report or error may creep in, and that may be avoidable. So for the purpose of review of the particular that year's 3CD, this sheet is useful for all of us. For example, this sheet denotes some mainly disallowances or inconsistencies. The example is like PF ESIC disallowances, which are mentioned in 3CD. PF ESIC payments, which are collected but short paid as per form 3CD. Loans or specified sums accepted or repaid otherwise than by check or bank draft or not by banking channels. It would report the number of instances in 3CD where it is mentioned that these transactions have been done not by banking channels or by check or bank draft, but those check or bank draft were not account pay. So this will flag out if we have wrongly mentioned other mode in this particular clauses in 3CD. Here we can catch that particular error that there was not any such acceptance, but how it is going in 3CD. So in that case, that can be caught. And similarly, other clauses also. Clause 11 of this gives comparative GP and NP position of current year and previous year. And one additional aspect here is it would, when you import previous year's 3CD into this utility, it will give you a 3-year comparison on the face of it of GP ratio and NP ratio. Right. Now this para 13, it would arithmetically tally the quantitative details. For example, on screen we can see that closing stock as mentioned in 3CD is 3023, whereas closing stock as calculated is 3123. So there is a difference of say 100 in quantity. So these arithmetical errors can be flagged by this review sheet in 3CD, and those may be corrected appropriately. The next part is with respect to comparison with the previous year's 3CD. Now this has two parts. Again, we need to import the previous year's 3CD first in the 3CD comparison sheet. And then we already have our current year's 3CD data here. So what we need is just to import the previous year's 3CD over here, and immediately it would flag the inconsistencies in matching between current years and previous year's 3CD. For example, in clause 4, it is highlighting red. Let's see what that clause 4 says. It says, with respect to clause 10A of 3CD, it is mentioned that there is no change in nature of business or profession during the year. But the business codes which are mentioned in current and previous year's 3CDs are not matching. So on the one side, the 3CD is saying that there is no change in business or profession, but the business codes may have been arithmetically incorrect, or different codes may have got selected. So that is why this red flag has come. And the details of this error are like, as per current year's 3CD, the business codes are 10,007 and 10,200. Whereas as per previous year's 3CD, it was 10,007 and 10,002. So there is a difference. So this has been flagged out. Now, for example, the clause 9, it says with reference to clause 23 of 3CD that there is no related party reporting in current year, whereas it was present in previous year. Previous year, there were 2 entries which were reported in related party reporting. This year, there are 0 entries. Now, this may not necessarily mean there is an error, but it is just a flag to give information whether we have missed out reporting the related party in current year. Para clause 13. The closing quantity of stocks of previous year do not tally with opening quantity of current year. Yes, this has been red flag. The reason is the opening quantity of current year is 2,646 and the closing quantity of previous year was 2,846. So there is an issue here, and that is why this inconsistency has been flagged when we compare it with previous year. Now, there are also certain technical clauses here apart from arithmetical comparison. You may see clause 6 that there is mismatch in method of accounting in current and previous year, and change in method of accounting is not mentioned in form 3CD. This 3CD does not contain this error because in last year also it was mercantile system and current year also it was mercantile system. In clause 7 it says change in method of valuation of stock. Last year it was lower of cost or market rate. Current year also it is lower of cost. That is why there is no error or inconsistency apparent over here. So this is with respect to comparison of 3CD on certain critical aspects between the current year and the previous year. Now, the last part is with reference to ITR matching. Now it again has 2 parts, as we know, that we have to import the current year's ITR's JSON, and the 3CD and ITR are then compared with respect to certain allowances and disallowances which have been prescribed in the valuation rules framed by the IT department, that whenever IT return is processed, these allowances and disallowances will be matched with form 3CD. So let us now import an ITR over here and let's see if we can find some inconsistencies over here. Yes, they are. Now this inconsistency is with respect to capital expenditure. As per 3CD, the capital expenditure is mentioned as 0, whereas ITR mentions 5,000. As per 3CD, personal expenditure is 0, whereas ITR mentions 10,000. Yes, there can be a reverse situation also, that there may be certain disallowances which are taken in ITR but may have been left out in 3CD. So the check would work on both way, that certain allowances or disallowances mentioned in 3CD, whether they found place in ITR, and whatever is mentioned in ITR, whether it was mentioned in 3CD also. So this would help to this minimize the mismatches between ITR and TCD, and subsequently that intimations and demands due to that this particular disallowance differences. Yes. Now these were the various critical or important features this utility does with respect to tax audit. Apart from it, there are certain administrative is also that this template can be used for multiple number of clients for multiple number of times. There is no limitation to it. And for example, like I know that this 3CD which I am working on now is erroneous and I need to make changes into this. So I may or may not save this 3CD, right? Because I need to make changes. And again, I would come back and would like to check whether there are still any errors cropping up. So straight away, I can close this Excel file, and I know we have a template file. That template file can be used multiple number of times for maybe same client or number of clientele. And as we have seen that we can save client specific Excel and PDF file, so that after say completion of tax audit also in the month of say September, in the month of October, we may get we may prepare this ITRs and we may review the ITRs later on, because in September we may be focusing on tax audit reports only, and we may prepare ITRs later. So a client specific assessment year specific file will help us later analyzing the ITR and as well taking printouts of the audit documentation and completing our this audit documentation file. Well, certain administrative facilities that you can always check for updates in the utility, and the updates would be instantly downloaded. That is on the instruction sheets. It's a simple button to click to check for the updates. If there are any version updates, they would be available. On this second button, you can submit a query or feedback, and that would reach to us. We'll try to resolve it as early as possible. And this utility is activated for 365 days or for a period of 1 year. And you may request for extension. And most important part, which I would like to say sincerely, that this utility is totally offline. It is basic Excel. That is why we have used Excel as a tool, so that there is no installation of any software or any changes, and it is available on each and everyone's PC. May it be a small Mofusil or may it be a big city, and there are many number of versions of Excel, and it works on all the versions. And totally offline, does not collect or share any data. We maintain only that much data which you gave us only on the initial user request form, and that too for maintaining the record of user activation, and it is nowhere shared with anyone or used for any other purpose. So this was with respect to my subject of Excel utility of tax audits, and I specifically thank Karthik Tambi, my son, for helping in developing as well as in this preparation of presentation and this arrangements also. And I express again sincere thanks and request the moderators that if there are any questions or clarifications I can answer, I would be happy to contribute. It's with a humble request of contributing to CABF. I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. And we would definitely appreciate that it is a very meticulously developed utility with checkpoints embedded at various places. So, which will be immensely useful for discharging our professional duties in a proper manner. And one question we have is that can we continue even if there are red flags? And because some red flags may be genuine, as you mentioned, like related party transactions or anything. So, and how can we know for which red flag we can proceed without changing the data, or it has to be addressed immediately? This is one of the questions.
Sure. Well, definitely you can continue with all the red flags. The red flags do not restrict the usage in any manner whatsoever.
Okay.
The red flags are only for the purpose of disclosure or display.
Yeah.
You can edit all the cells as we do in Excel. We can
Okay.
edit all the cells. Like for example, suppose a red flag has come up on a particular clause, right? And you may want to write an explanation next to that red flag and hand over it to your staff to look at it when he or she may come tomorrow morning and conclude that 3CD. So that facility is also there. You might take down your notes. So red flags are not going to restrict you in any manner whatsoever. You can go ahead with that.
Okay. I think it is there to assist us.
Yes.
It need not be addressed then and there, but it will give a direction whether anything needs to be checked for that particular point over.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. We had shared a link earlier, but there is a query from many participants that that link is not working for this specific utility. Actually, I checked it also. The link which was shared in the beginning is not working. That is, so where can we find this utility again? That is a common issue by
Just a minute.
almost 10 to 12 participants. It is there.
Okay.
So I think
Well,
we'll just...
I'll share the screen again containing that link and QR code.
Okay, sir.
For a second, so that participants may kindly note it down.
Yeah.
Is it visible right now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes. Still, I would humbly request if someone finds it difficult or there is any error coming up, you may please contact me on this WhatsApp number or on this email ID on the screen. We'll instantly try to resolve your difficulty to help you out.
Okay, that is great, sir. We have 400 plus participants watching from all over, and all of us have definitely benefited, and it will give us an opportunity to revisit the reports which we have drafted. So that is a big checkpoint before uploading, and the interfacing with our institute's guidelines is one of the great features, I think, which will be of immense help. So, from on behalf of CP committee, I heartily thank you and also your son. Yeah, it is indeed a great contribution for our profession. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Oblige. Thank you. Thanks for that.
So, we had a great lecture by Tambi sir. And we'll now move to the second part of today's program. Our chairman sir and vice chairman sir, if they are available, they were going to join us for addressing. But as they are busy with some other programs, they have not been able to join yet. So as for now, we will proceed to the second part of the program.
Ma'am, the faculty
Yeah, yes.
has intimated that he would be available in another 10 to 15 minutes. He's
Okay.
like he got busy with something urgently.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but
Uh,
he'll be available soon, very soon.
okay. So any input, anyone else? We can't put it open for the participants right now.
It can be open for the question answer, or if Tambi sir would like to maybe
Yeah, exactly.
continue
Okay.
for some time.
Yes,
Like
surely so. I am available if there are any questions, or I can try to
Yes,
answer
yes,
that.
sir.
Yes. Uh,
we now have a feedback, sir, that the link worked and they have already got the activation code. So he has thanked you for that.
well,
So that
we are
was a
thankful to,
question. Yeah, that was a
right?
question.
Because the only source of improvement is feedback.
Yeah.
So it's my humble request to all the participants over here.
Uh,
Please share your feedback. Collectively, we will improve and we will help each other.
yes.
Mm.
So one question from my side, any related to stock for quantitative details and anything, is there any specific way in which it can be put forward? Like sometimes the quantitative details are not in available in the desired manner, so we have to give a disclaimer or a qualifier for that. So how is that point addressed in this?
Yes. Well, basically, if we go with the present structure of the utility, the starting point is your JSON file,
Yeah.
right? So presently, it's not anywhere linked to the accounts part. So
Yes.
whatever data is coming up on JSON, it is analyzing that
Correct.
particularly, right?
Okay.
So based on that part, only analysis is being done. And if, say, quantitative details are not reported, surely it will flag out an error
Okay.
that there is,
Yeah.
we are not qualified the audit
Yeah.
report on that particular manner.
Okay.
But there is, as we have seen, just to clarify that, if there are arithmetical inaccuracies as
Yes.
compared to previous year 3CD or in the current year's 3CD,
Yeah.
that will surely be cropped up.
Okay.
For example, many a times in one or two 3CDs, the yield of finished goods is more than raw material consumed.
Yeah. That is the
Yes.
obvious.
So that
Yeah.
is that may crop up because agar, those
Make.
cells get exchanged, then it
Yeah.
creates issue.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So generally, arithmetical errors occur in the moments of haste. Right?
Okay.
And those, frankly, we tax auditors cannot means concentrate very minutely to it.
Yeah, because stock is one aspect where we largely depend on what is actually
Yes,
supplied to us by the client,
yes,
because the suitability and acceptability is not, we are not experts for judging that. Uh,
surely.
Yeah, although
Yes,
we do try to get the maximum information regarding the business cycles and everything, but still, to a large
yes,
extent, we depend on what the client supplies us.
yes. Well, one aspect which I look up to, or I use the utility is like that. It works as a checklist that whether as per ICI guidance note, I have covered up all classes of reporting or not.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
helps me in ascertaining that which of the clauses I am missing in
Hmm.
form, say, para 3 or para 5 of this 3CB or 3CD or 3CA or 3CB. So
Hmm.
it is like, it also works as a reverse checklist. We- This has remained, so
Hmm.
now I need to cover up, right?
Yes.
And uh, every tax audit, when it is reviewed with that utility, then we get
New inputs.
we buy that.
Okay.
Yes. We also get that, okay, these 15 points are there. There should be 15 clauses coming up over there. Yes.
Yeah. And I think another great aspect is that the MRL also gets generated. So this is one part of our documentation which is immensely important. And
Yes.
we have to have an MRL definitely as a part of our working after our working papers are compiled. So all the related fields are marked for the MRL,
Yes.
and we have a acknowledgement by the client then and there. So
yes, surely so. That is
yeah.
how it has been prepared. Means you will see that it's a detailed MRL covering each and every clause of 3CD. For
Yeah.
example, if there is a change in partners, that MRL clause would change and say, yes, there is a change in partners. If there is no change in partners, it will say there is no change in partners. So you need not edit it clause by clause.
Yeah.
It is just ready to go over and print. A simple, means a very small but a simple example, I would say that, for example, if it is a partnership firm,
Okay.
the text would be that it would be we or us.
Yeah.
The address would be we or us.
Yeah.
In case it is a proprietorship, it would be I or me.
No.
Yes,
Yes.
that is also taken care of. That need
Okay.
not be changed.
Okay.
So
Okay.
based on the status of SSC, those salutations will also change.
Yeah.
So it's a direct, as you said correctly, that
Yes.
direct print it can go.
Ready material.
Except when you want to add certain explanations or certain information based on the client's specific
That is typical
circumstances.
for any case.
Yes.
It might be differ from case to case, but the standardized representations are all there already.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that is great, sir. Thank you. Any other questions if the participants want to put up, please share. I think once the user takes hands-on work,
Sure. Yes.
be able to make out if at all any practical problem is being faced.
Yes,
And
surely so. Surely so. And there, see, Merlin's, whenever we compile or we code, then we also are prone to errors while compiling that and interlinking it with all this.
yeah.
Yes. So we will surely appreciate that we get the feedback and we correct our errors also. Yes.
So
So,
here's
and
a
as you said it
request.
correctly, it is that once the usage happens, then it will crop up. And surely means I would humbly say that it would take 4 to 5 audit reports
Yeah.
to go over and just means get used to
Used to
it.
the
Get
using
used to
the
it.
whole thing effectively.
Yes, means to click that why this error has cropped up, why it is saying, why it is flagging. It would
Yes.
surely take 4 to 5 audit reports to just be used to it.
Yes. So
Yes.
here's a request to all the participants also. Please share your feedback, and please also share your positive feedback, because it is definitely going to be very useful. And because sir has shared it so generously with all of us, so you can always drop in a mail to sir acknowledging it. And there is another question, sir. Can we add more data in MRL? And also, is there any option to export in Word, or PDF is the only option?
Oh, yes. Sir, you can surely add more data to MRL because it is just an Excel sheet open before you like a regular Excel sheet.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can add, list, delete, change. Any operation can be done.
Okay.
Secondly,
Any
sir,
terminology anyone wishes to change, he can then
yes.
edit it
Each
as
and
well.
every field can be changed. Line can be changed. There are no restrictions. It's
Okay.
just your Excel sheet. Just like we type an Excel sheet.
Mm.
That Excel sheet is available and open, right?
Oh.
And second, this part is key. Hello.
Sir.
Yes. So you can always change. And with respect to export in Word, we have presently given that PDF conversion facility.
Yeah.
And if at all word is found necessary, we can surely add to the update. And thanks for suggesting this. We will surely add to the update that the word export facility would be available. Yes.
I think because for text matter, Word maybe many people find drafting in Word more convenient than Excel.
Yes.
Maybe that is why he might have
Yes,
suggested.
that's very apt and correct suggestion. Sincerely, thank you for that. We'll surely add it to the next update. Yeah.
That is great, sir. Okay. If any more questions, the participants can please put up their questions. Sir is here right now.
And one aspect I would also again like to emphasize that there is no restriction on, say, number of installations or downloads. If our office has 10 PCs, 10 desktops, you can use on all computers.
Okay.
Right? Yes. But there is a system of user. It is not restricted. 10 people can fill up the form, get an activation code. So they can use it on number of computers. So with respect to staff or with respect to people, there is no PCs, there is no restriction on usage. Neither on number of clients as such. Yes.
And because it is offline, the internet disruptions will not affect it. That is another.
Nowhere. You can always use it on a disconnected PC or connected PC because no data of any kind whatsoever is shared or followed up.
Yes.
Yes. Because it is in your PC. Yes. That Excel doesn't connect.
It doesn't need any connection. Yeah.
No. It doesn't connect. It doesn't give any data.
Okay.
Just only at the time of activation, it would need internet for a minute or so. Just to validate that activation code.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that time interfacing has to
That's
be
enough. Yes. Otherwise, no data and nothing.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you. And I would just, I have one request again. Kindly contribute to CABF. That's what CPA committee also gives us a message. Yes, in their flyer also they mentioned that. And this is my humble request also to contribute to CABF. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. At the time of payment of our annual membership fees, mostly all of us do mark our contributions to the CABF. But as sir requested, all the members are again requested to contribute as per their willingness. So that would help building us the corpus again in case of need.
Yes.
So that would help the our fraternity members, families of our fraternity members.
Yes.
Thank you, Lalit sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So our second session is scheduled to begin now, but the speaker he is occupied with some urgent assignment, so he has not been able to join in as yet. He'll be joining us shortly, and immediately we'll start with the session once he joins in. Now these being the months of August and September, all of us are geared up for completing our tax audit assignments, and this utility which Tambi sir has shared with us, we can import our JSON files, the 3CD JSON files, and immediately it all the data which gets absorbed into the utility, and as sir explained, there we have checkpoints and all the other points cropping up. So members are requested to use it largely. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm my apologies first of all for actually I told
Ma'am, Ayush sir is here.
Yes.
I told Akshat also regarding
Yeah.
the issue I faced. So I
Okay.
think so. We'll begin with. I'll just in 1 or 2 minutes. I'll reach my office. So we'll
Okay.
begin the webinar for
Okay.
this. Should I begin it?
Sir, I'll just give a brief introduction because we were waiting for you to join in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, we have 400 plus participants from all over, and all of us are eager to listen to you. So, welcome once again on behalf of the CP Committee of ICAI. Myself, moderator CA Abhilasha Mure. I would like to take the honor to introduce our second speaker, CA Ayush Sani. He has completed multiple exams and courses like forensic accounting, fraud detection exam by ICAI, and also diploma in information systems audit. And he has also delivered multiple sessions in internal audit and GST, and was also invited by CII, FICCI, and government departments for lectures on GST and income tax compliances. We would request Sani sir to start with his lecture once it is okay for him. We are waiting for it, sir.
Thank you so much, Abhilasha ma'am, for this wonderful introduction. And first of all, I would like to thank the chairman CP committee Purushottam sir and his entire team for the efforts they have done for this webinar, especially the information dissemination and everything, because the title of today's webinar is very important for not only uh, the journal, the young CAs, but also the CAs at large, because subsidies, like we say, emerging opportunities for CAs in the field of government subsidies and industrial consultancy and like matters. So it is very important for us to know. I have already done multiple seminars for CP committee and many other committees and branches all over the nation on this topic. So every time I do it, I receive so many messages and calls on how to prepare DPR, what are all the formats. So this time I will be covering it in detail, each and everything, what are the various schemes which we can take benefit of, what all do's and don'ts we need to do regarding this. So first of all, I will start with a PMEGP scheme. So in PMEGP scheme, it starts with a Prime Minister Employment Guarantee Program. So if I can send somebody my slides, can they just operate it? Somebody from the team, because as a technical support, somebody from technical support is here.
Yeah, Mohit sir is there.
Okay. Should I share the slides in the group? And can you share it? Just 1 second. So my slide must be available with you. I have sent at number of Akshat. I've WhatsApped him. Uh, can you please share the slide? Okay, okay, yeah, sure. I'm
Hello, Ayush sir.
Yes, I am joining.
Yeah, the screen has been shared.
Yeah, I'm joining from my PC right now. I've reached office.
Okay, okay.
Okay. My screen, this video is visible to everybody.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So first of all, thank you so much everybody for patiently waiting for the everything this technical things to happen and me joining the seminar via webinar. So PMEGP and other schemes basically जो MSME का जितना भी होता है ना, तो ये हम आज डिस्कस करेंगे कि कौन कौन सी सब्सिडीज हम ले सकते हैं इसमें. तो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. So what is PMEGP actually? It is Prime Minister Employment Guarantee Program. It's a credit linked subsidy program. Is a employment guarantee program linked with subsidy. ये क्या है? ये क्रेडिट लिंक सब्सिडी प्रोग्राम है. इसमें क्या है, जो हमें जो सब्सिडी मिलती है वो हमारे क्रेडिट के साथ होती है. जैसे कुछ होती है ना सब्सिडीज आती है डायरेक्ट हमारे अकाउंट में आ जाती है, लेकिन ये सब्सिडी प्रोग्राम वैसा नहीं है. यहाँ पे हमें क्रेडिट या लोन दिया जाता है और उसके साथ हमारा जो है एक जो सब्सिडी का पार्ट है उसमें रहता है. जैसे हमें इस अमाउंट का लोन मिलेगा और जब हम अपना जो यूनिट है प्रॉपरली जब उसको चलाएंगे तो उसमें हमें जब आफ्टर 1 ईयर उसका जैसे ऑपरेशंस के बाद हमें हमारा जो वो सब्सिडी का अमाउंट है ऑटोमेटिकली हमारे लोन अमाउंट में से वो कम कर देते हैं. तो ये बहुत ही ज्यादा आजकल जो गवर्नमेंट इस स्कीम के पीछे काफी ज्यादा इसको प्रमोट कर रही है और वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट गेम चेंजर स्कीम्स है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की. आप जितने भी अपने डीआईसीज में केवीआईसीज में आप देखेंगे ये स्कीम बहुत ही ज्यादा लोग इसका आजकल यूज कर रहे हैं. तो इसमें और इसकी कंसल्टेंसी जो है यूजुअली कोई करते नहीं है. तो वो जो जहां पे भी आप देख लीजिए कुछ 2-3 सीएस होते हैं हर डीआईसी पे या फिर आपको जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट इंडस्ट्री सेंटर्स केवीआईबी केवीआईसी में जो इसमें काम कर रहे थे. तो इसमें आजकल स्कोप बहुत ज्यादा है क्योंकि इसमें जो प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट्स हैं वो सीएस ही बनाते हैं और इनकी जो सर्टिफिकेशन होती है जो इनका बाकी कंसल्टेंसी होती है इस पे जो जितने भी न्यू एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को देनी, तो इस पे वो सारा सीएस का एक काफी एक मेजर ये जो मैं कह रहा हूँ स्कोप या अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर स्पेशली यंग सीएस है. So this program focuses on generating self-employment opportunities through micro enterprise establishment in non-farm sector by helping unemployed youth and traditional artisans. तो ये एक ऐसे सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी है. गवर्नमेंट इसमें क्या फोकस कर रही है कि इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग फॉर ट्रेडिशनल और कन्वेंशनल तरीके की जो होता था कि लोगों को जॉब दे दो, ये गवर्नमेंट इस लोन के माध्यम से ट्राई कर रही है कि एक लोगों को सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट की हम अपॉर्चुनिटी दी जाए. इसमें इसकी जो क्या कहते हैं इम्प्लीमेंट करने वाली एजेंसी है वो केवीआईसी है, खादी विलेज इंडस्ट्रीज कमीशन, जो इसको ये जो है इम्प्लीमेंट करती है इंडिया में. तो इसमें और ये जो अगर डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे देखा जाए तो इसमें डीआईसीज होते हैं जहां पे इसकी फंडिंग आती है और जो इसको एडमिनिस्टर मॉनिटर करते हैं. At the state level, scheme is being implemented by state KVICs, state Khadi village boards and district industry centers and banks. तो वही जैसे इसमें क्या होता है कि आपके डीआईसी में आपने अपनी डीपीआर दी, आपकी डीपीआर की इवैल्यूएशन होती है और वो जो अगर इसको जो आपके जो जीएम होते हैं डीआईसी के जब उसको करेक्ट पूरा क्या कहते हैं वेरीफाई कर लेते हैं देन इट इज रेफर्ड टू बैंक फॉर फाइनेंसिंग. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. अब इसमें एलिजिबिलिटी क्या होती है, हु ऑल कैन टेक बेनिफिट्स ऑफ दिस स्कीम. इंडिविजुअल जिसकी 18 इयर्स के अबव की एज है, जिसने 8th क्लास पास की हुई है, ही इज एलिजिबल फॉर 5 लाख रुपीज प्रोजेक्ट इन सर्विस सेक्टर एंड 10 लाख इन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर। इंस्टीट्यूशन जो सोसाइटीज रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट में जो सोसाइटीज वगैरह रजिस्टर्ड है, तो पहले काफी लोगों को इस चीज में एक वो था कि संदेह था कि क्या सिर्फ एक इंडिविजुअल वगैरह ही ले कर सकते हैं, लेकिन नहीं, अब सोसाइटी अगर आपने बनाई है, कोई एनजीओ टाइप बनाई है, तो आप उसमें भी इसका बेनिफिट ले सकते हैं। तो नेक्स्ट आ गई प्रोडक्शन बेस्ड कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज, देयर मेनी कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज, तो वो भी इसमें बेनिफिट ले सकती है। और सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप, जैसे मैंने पहले ही बोला, जैसे आजकल काफी सारे जैसे ये ऐसे चीज का काफी अच्छा एक चलन चला है, तो जहाँ पे काफी सारी महिलाएं और बाकी सारे जैसे क्या कहते हैं यूथ भी सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स बनाते हैं छोटे छोटे गाँव में, तो वो दे कैन ऑल्सो क्लेम बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस। तो इस तो अब क्या नेगेटिव लिस्ट है इसकी, तो अब हमने ये तो देख लिया कि एलिजिबिलिटी कौन कौन लोग एलिजिबल है। इसकी एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया बहुत ही मतलब मैं बोलूंगा को बहुत ही इजी है, एनीबडी कैन क्लेम बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस। तो अब इसमें क्या नेगेटिव लिस्ट है कि कौन कौन से लोग नहीं इसका बेनिफिट ले सकते। तो बिजनेस इंडस्ट्रीज विद प्रोसेसिंग सेल ऑफ मीट इंटॉक्सिकेंट आइटम लाइक पान बीड़ी सिगरेट, अगर कोई इसकी प्रोडक्शन में काम कर रहे हैं तो वो नहीं ले सकते हैं इसका बेनिफिट। बिजनेस और इंडस्ट्रीज लिंक विद सेरिकल्चर, कल्टीवेशन, फ्लोरिकल्चर, हॉर्टिकल्चर, कोई अगर इन सब चीजों में डील कर रहा है तो वो भी इसका बेनिफिट नहीं ले सकते हैं। मैन्युफैक्चर ऑफ कंटेनर्स ऑफ रिसाइकल्ड प्लास्टिक पॉलिथीन कैरी बैग्स ऑफ लेस देन 20 माइक्रॉन्स, अगर कोई प्लास्टिक में डील कर रहा है, जो प्लास्टिक बैग्स बना रहा है 20 माइक्रॉन से नीचे के, वो भी इसका बेनिफिट नहीं ले सकता है। प्रोसेसिंग ऑफ पश्मीना, वुल एंड अदर प्रोडक्ट विच आर अंडर स्पिनिंग एंड हैंड वीविंग, क्योंकि ये जो है ना ये ऑलरेडी किसी और स्कीम में कवर्ड है ये पश्मीना वगैरह, तो उनको भी इसमें से निकाल दिया गया है। तो रूरल ट्रांसपोर्ट एक्सेप्ट हाउस बोट शिकारा वगैरह, रूरल ट्रांसपोर्ट में जो डील कर रहे हैं उनको भी इसका बेनिफिट नहीं मिलता, एक्सेप्ट कोई अगर हाउस बोट या शिकारा वगैरह कर रहा है तो उसको बेनिफिट दे देंगे। लेकिन उसमें भी ये है कि अगर हाउस बोट शिकारा वगैरह कर रहे हैं अंडमान निकोबार या जे में, हाँ, और या फिर ऑटो रिक्शा वाले, लेकिन उनको प्रायर अप्रूवल ऑफ लेना पड़ेगा चीफ सेक्रेटरी ऑफ द स्टेट ऑन मेरिट, इस वाले में रूरल ट्रांसपोर्ट, बाकी सब में कोई आपको कुछ नहीं चाहिए। तो अब सब्सिडी होती कितनी है, अगर आप जनरल कैटेगरी के हैं तो आपको कितनी सब्सिडी है, 25% ऑफ द कॉस्ट ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट विच इज अ ह्यूज अमाउंट। अगर आप देखिए, अगर आपने 10 लाख का ही प्रोजेक्ट लगाया तो 2.5 लाख रुपए आपको सब्सिडी आ जाएगी इसमें वापस। तो एलिजिबल सब्सिडी जनरल कैटेगरी के लोगों को होगी 25% ऑफ द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट इन रूरल एरियाज एंड 15% इन अर्बन एरियाज। और स्पेशल कैटेगरी के लोग भी, जैसे स्पेशल कैटेगरी में भी आगे मैं समझाऊंगा, स्पेशल कैटेगरी इज फर्दर डिफाइंड, और स्पेशल कैटेगरी को भी इन्होंने काफी रिलैक्स किया रादर देन एससी एसटी ओबीसी, इन्होंने और भी काफी चीजों को डाला है अपनी स्पेशल कैटेगरी में, वेदर इट बी वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, आपके ये जो है हिली एरिया के लोग, आपके काफी सारे एक्स सर्विसमैन, काफी लोगों को स्पेशल कैटेगरी में डाला गया है। और उनके लिए जो सब्सिडी है वो एक ह्यूमंगस अमाउंट होती है, 35% इफ दे आर इन रूरल एरियाज एंड 25% इफ दे आर इन अर्बन एरियाज। सो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। अब ये मैंने एक चार्ट बनाया क्वांटम ऑफ मार्जिन मनी का रिक्वायर्ड, ये तो हमने देख लिया सब्सिडी कितनी है, लेकिन अब जो मार्जिन मनी का रिक्वायरमेंट का आपको पता है कि यूजुअली आप कोई लोन लेने जाओ तो उसमें 25% to 30% तक मार्जिन मनी कभी कभी मांग लेते हैं। लेकिन इस स्कीम में अगर आप इस स्कीम के तहत जाते हो लोन लेने के लिए, तो आपको जनरल कैटेगरी में, अगर आप सिंपल आप जनरल कैटेगरी के हो, हाँ, तो आपको जो है ये जो 10% का मार्जिन मनी लेंगे। लेकिन अगर आप स्पेशल कैटेगरी के हो तो आपका मार्जिन मनी ओनली 5% है, विच इज अ बिग थिंग। मतलब कोई बैंक, वरना आप जाके बोलो 5% मार्जिन मनी में आप लोन दे दो, वो कभी भी नहीं करते। लेकिन इस स्कीम में क्या है, अगर आप इस स्कीम के तहत जाते हो तो आपको बस 5% मार्जिन मनी में देके 95% आपकी फाइनेंसिंग हो जाती है और आपको ये जो है उसका प्रॉपर तरीके से लोन मिल जाता है। और सब्सिडीज कितनी है, अगर जनरल कैटेगरी में आप हो तो ये मैंने ऑलरेडी आपको पहले समझा दिया, जनरल कैटेगरी में हो तो और अर्बन में हो तो 15%, स्पेशल कैटेगरी में हो और अर्बन में हो तो 25%, और जनरल कैटेगरी में हो रूरल में हो तो 25%, और स्पेशल कैटेगरी में हो और रूरल में हो 35%। लेकिन अब आप देखिए स्पेशल कैटेगरी में आते कौन कौन है, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले बताया सिर्फ ये SC ST OBC नहीं है, इसमें SC ST OBC, माइनॉरिटी, वुमेन, एक्स सर्विसमैन, फिजिकली हैंडीकैप्ड लोग, नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन में जो लोग रहते हैं, हिली एरियाज में जो लोग रहते हैं, बॉर्डर एरियाज में रहते हैं जो लोग, तो ये इन्होंने एक स्पेशल कैटेगरी को काफी ज्यादा बड़ा कर दिया। और जब इन्होंने वुमेन को डाल दिया तो वैसे ही बहुत ज्यादा होगी, 50% पॉपुलेशन को तो इन्होंने वैसे डाल दिया इसमें। तो स्पेशल कैटेगरी इज ए ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ दिस, जो मैं कहूंगा पॉपुलेशन सेट का। तो इसका बेनिफिट आगे आके सब लोगों को लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि इसमें एक बहुत ज्यादा मतलब बेनिफिट्स मिलते हैं सब्सिडीज के। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। तो गाइडलाइंस के, अब ये जो हम फॉर्म भरते हैं पीएमईजीपी का, तो इट इज मोर और लेस ये ऐसे दिखता है। तो इसमें आप देखिए कि क्या ये चीजें आपको मांगते हैं, वेदर इट बी आधार नंबर, आपका नेम क्या होगा एप्लीकेंट का, ये जो आपका स्पॉन्सरिंग एजेंसी कहाँ होगा, कहाँ से आपने स्पॉन्सरिंग कराई है इसकी, ये केवीआईबी है, केवीआईसी है, और ये सारा ऑनलाइन फॉर्म होता है, ऐसा नहीं है कुछ। और ये कितनी बारी तो ये फॉर्म जो होता है वेरी इजी टू फिल, इसको एक मैं कहूंगा कि इसके लिए इवन आपकी जो ऑफिस में जो स्टाफ अगर आर्टिकल्स होते हैं वो भी इसको भर सकते हैं, इट इज सो सिंपल। तो ये अगर आप देखें तो मैंने अभी जैसे ऑनलाइन जो साइट के भी मैंने स्क्रीनशॉट्स लेके रखे हुए हैं, मैं वो भी आगे की स्लाइड्स में आपको दिखाऊंगा। तो इट इज अ वेरी सिंपल फॉर्म जो हमें भरना है, और इसके साथ हमें डीपीआर अटैच करनी होती है। तो डीपीआर का भी मैं आगे थोड़ा बहुत उसके ग्लिम्पसेस दूंगा, और कैसे क्या डूज एंड डोंट्स है उसके, वो भी आपको समझाता हूँ। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। अब इसके कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स जो हमें थोड़े मतलब कि अपने दिमाग में रखने चाहिए जब हम कोई भी ऐसा कुछ क्या कहते हैं, किसी को भी पीएमईजीपी में कंसल्टेंसी दे रहे हैं या किसी को भी पीएमईजीपी में बेनिफिट दिलवा रहे हैं। असिस्टेंस अंडर पीएमईजीपी इज अवेलेबल ओनली टू न्यू यूनिट्स विच आर टू बी एस्टैब्लिश। पीएमईजीपी जो बेनिफिट है ना, ये सिर्फ न्यू यूनिट्स को मिलेगा, ये एग्जिस्टिंग यूनिट्स को नहीं मिलेगा। देयर इज नो इनकम सीलिंग फॉर सेटिंग अप ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट। इसमें कोई इनकम सीलिंग नहीं है कि अगर जैसे कि काफी सारी जो इन्वेस्टमेंट स्कीम्स होती हैं या फिर सब्सिडी स्कीम्स होती हैं, उसमें लिखा जाता है कि आपका इतना टर्नओवर होगा तो ही आपको बेनिफिट मिलेगा, या आपका इतना वो जो आपका ये जो है नेट इनकम होगा। इवन इनकम टैक्स में भी काफी सारे जो बेनिफिट्स के लिए जो हमारे एटीआई है और क्या कहते हैं काफी जो वो सीरीज है एटीआई की सीरीज, उसमें ये टर्नओवर का और बाकी सब फिक्स एसेट का और ये सब हमें एक सीलिंग्स होती है। लेकिन इसमें आपको कोई सीलिंग नहीं है, वॉट एवर योर इनकम इज। अगर आप अपने इसमें 100 करोड़ की टर्नओवर करो, 10 करोड़ की करो या 10 लाख की करो, आपको जो बेनिफिट है वो सेम ही दिया जाएगा। तो एग्जिस्टिंग यूनिट और यूनिट दैट आर ऑलरेडी अवेलिंग गवर्नमेंट सब्सिडी, जो भी कोई एग्जिस्टिंग गवर्नमेंट सब्सिडी ले रही है, चाहे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से, वो इस बेनिफिट का, इस स्कीम का, क्योंकि आप डबल डबल सब्सिडी नहीं ले सकते। तो अगर कोई एग्जिस्टिंग कोई किसी और गवर्नमेंट सब्सिडी का बेनिफिट ले रहे हैं तो आप उसमें इसमें ऑप्ट नहीं कर सकते। Any industry, including coir-based industry, excluding those mentioned in the negative list, can take advantage of this scheme. कोई भी कॉयर बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री है तो वो इसमें बेनिफिट नहीं ले सकती, क्योंकि उनके लिए वैसे अलग सेपरेट एक्ट है। तो उनको वहां पे बेनिफिट देते हैं। पर कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट अंडर दिस स्कीम शुड नॉट एक्सीड 1 लाख इन प्लेन एरियाज एंड 1.5 लाख इन हिली एरियाज। ये एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट इसका एस्पेक्ट है कि पर कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट मतलब जितने लोग आपने इसमें हायर किए हैं ना, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने 10 लोग हायर किए हैं, तो आपके जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है 10 लाख होनी चाहिए। तो और अगर आपने इसको हिली एरियाज में रखा हुआ है तो 15 लाख होनी चाहिए। मैक्सिमम प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट, और प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट क्या है, अब इसमें एक ये चीज है कि जिसके एक थोड़ा सा बॉटलनेक आ जाता है इसमें, कि मैक्सिमम प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट जो सर्विस सेक्टर में है वो 10 लाख होना चाहिए, और जो ये है मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में है वो 25 लाख होना चाहिए, इससे ज्यादा नहीं हो सकता। अगर आपने इससे ज्यादा क्या कहते हैं कर दिया तो आप और स्कीम्स या और बेनिफिट्स में चले जाइए, जैसे स्टैंड अप इंडिया लोन या कुछ और लोन्स हैं, उसमें आप जा सकते हैं। पीएमईजीपी में फिर आप बेनिफिट नहीं ले सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट, अगर किसी को जैसे कुछ अगर क्वेश्चंस वगैरह हो, दे कैन राइट इन चैट बॉक्स और सम अदर मीडियम, हम साथ साथ भी लिखते हैं, वरना एंड में तो हमने Q&A सेशन रखना ही है। पार्ट्स ऑफ डिटेल प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट। सो डिटेल हमारे जो डीपीआर होती है, इट इज मेजरली इसके दो पार्ट्स होते हैं। एक इसका राइटअप सेक्शन होता है और इसका एक वो हमारा टेक्निकल डेटा होता है। राइटअप सेक्शन में क्या होता है, हम प्रमोटर्स के बारे में, लोकेशन क्या होगी आपके यूनिट की, मार्केट पोटेंशियल क्या है, और पूरा अपने यूनिट को समझाते हैं कि किस तरीके से हमारा यूनिट कैसे क्या कहते हैं काम करेगा, यूनिट या फिर आपका जो भी सर्विस सेक्टर यूनिट या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर यूनिट किस तरीके से काम करेगा। और देखिए आप इसको भी एक चीज नोट कीजिए, ट्रेडिंग में बेनिफिट नहीं मिलता है, ये सिर्फ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और सर्विस सेक्टर है। ये आप देखेंगे कि किस तरीके से वो जो आपका कैसे आपकी लाइन ऑफ एक्टिविटी कैसी है, कितने बंदे आप हायर करेंगे। तो पूरा अपना जो राइटअप वाला सेक्शन है वो आपका पार्ट ए रहेगा, इसमें आप अपना पूरा राइटअप करके अपना सारा अपने प्रोजेक्ट के, इनके प्रोमोटर्स के बारे में, उनकी क्वालिफिकेशन के बारे में, हाउ वो कैसे यूनिट को सक्सेसफुल कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये सब चीजें जो आपके इंडस्ट्रीज डिपार्टमेंट में जाएगी जब आपकी एप्लीकेशन, ये उन सब चीजों को एसेस करेंगे वो लोग। ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट वो आपका जो ये सब्सिडी है वो अप्रूव करेंगे। फिर उसके नेक्स्ट पार्ट हमारा आता है सीएमए डेटा, ये हमारा टेक्निकल पार्ट आ जाता है, जहां पे हम
ये इतना कोई टफ तो है नहीं। जैसे हम लोग प्रोजेक्शंस वगैरह बनाते हैं ना, उसी तरीके से प्रोजेक्टेड बैलेंस शीट्स बनानी है, कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट बनानी है और रेशियो एनालिसिस करना है। तो और जैसे मैं अगर आप बोलेंगे तो मैं क्या कहते हैं सीपी कमेटी के जो डीलिंग कंसल्टेंट या ऑफिसर्स जो भी है उनके साथ में शेयर कर दूंगा अपनी ड्राफ्ट ये जो है डीपीआर, इससे आपको आइडिया हो जाएगा कि किस तरीके से हम एक डिटेल वो बनानी है। वैसे मैंने उसके एक्सर्प्ट्स जो है आगे स्लाइड्स में शेयर भी किए हैं। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड।
सर
तो
एक
ये
क्वेरी आई है कि फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हैज इट बीन इंक्रीज टू 50 lakhs नाउ? अपनी जो प्रीवियस स्लाइड में 25 lakhs का मेंशन था।
यस यस यस,
या
लेकिन अभी काफी सारी स्टेट्स इंक्लूडिंग जैसे हमारी जेएंडके की भी है ना, ये एक्ट में हुआ है लेकिन अभी तक वो उसको क्या कहते हैं वो इफेक्ट नहीं दे रहे हैं। जैसे अभी भी हम जैसे डीआईसी जम्मू में या फिर कितने बार कश्मीर में कठुआ में करते हैं, तो उसमें इफेक्ट अभी तक वो नहीं मिल रहा। तो दैट इज वाई मैंने अब किसी को 50 लाख बोल दूं वो उधर जाएंगे तो वो नहीं मिलेगा, तो इसलिए मैंने वो अभी मेंशन नहीं किया।
ओके ओके, सो आई थिंक इट इज
हाँ।
योर क्वेरी सॉल्व द रेस्पेक्टिव
हम्म।
पार्टिसिपेंट।
लेकिन अगर आप अपने एरिया में जाके देखिए, अगर आपके एरिया में वो अग्री करते थे, दैट्स बेस्ट।
ओके, so there is another request from many members in Chennai, Bangalore uh, use English to the maximum possible extent.
Okay, okay, okay. I use Hindi. I thought mostly North members are listening to it.
Yeah,
So
no,
accordingly,
because yeah, our members from all over have joined.
yes, 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 yes.
Thank you, sir.
Accordingly, I'll speak in English only from now on. So contents of the DPR. So these are the things which are necessary in a DPR, and more or less these are the of part A of the DPR. So highlights of the project. What all are the highlights of the project? In this, you have to. Many of you must be submitting your appeals to Commissioner Income Tax Appeals. In that, you give a synopsis in the first page. Now, this is the same thing. You have to give a synopsis or a summary of entire project in the first page, so that the officer gets to know about your entire project from looking at the first page itself. So this will be our highlights of the project. After that, there will be introduction of the project. Will be our the lengthy stuff will start from here onwards. You'll write the introduction of project, who are the partners, brief history of the promoters, what all is their experience, qualification, address, details of their existing units, if they are any having any existing units, how are they running it. So you need to mention all of those things. So nature of business, what nature exactly the enterprise will be into, whether it will manufacturing, service, and if in manufacturing, what will be the nature of such business. You'll have to explain it in detail, because the file will pass through many officers before you get the subsidy. You have to take government subsidy, so it's a bit I would say government, you know how the government works, so you have to, so accordingly the file should be complete in itself. It should be self explanatory, so that your client doesn't have to go time and again to explain each and everything that he'll be setting up this unit or that unit. So the file in itself should be complete. So what will be the manufacturing process? You'll have to tell in detail. For example, if you are starting a rice mill, you'll have to start from where the paddy will be go into machine, drying will happen, where washing of the grain will happen, from where till your packaging. Every process has to be explained, and it's better if it is done through photographs and all the pictures. It's easy if even if your client, if he's buying a new machine, he'll definitely go to some websites like India Mart or something. So from there also you tell him to give the quotations and the photos of this machine, so you'll get to know the entire process. They and even if you don't get on India Mart or your client doesn't give you, then also you can go to Google and just search it. You'll have good pictures. So having the pictures in your DPR is always a plus point, rather than plain and totally bland DPR that is not much appreciated by the officers and the bankers. So it is better to have manufacturing process DPRs, photos of your promoters, their experience, qualification, and everything in a proper interactive and I would say more of appealing to the whoever looks at. So what all raw material will then continue after manufacturing process. You'll have to tell what all raw material is required, what raw material for, like we were talking about the rice project. So what raw material will be required in it, from like paddy will be required, and for packaging there's some like for packaging material, your plastic bags or your various kinds of bags, like coir bags or something, which will be required. So you will have to describe the raw material required in detail. What will be the market potential? Like if you are setting up a rice mill in like Punjab, or you are setting up it in like parts of Maharashtra. So what is the market potential from there? From where will you get sales? Is there any set market you have, or is there any existing business, like you are in the trading of same business, so you're establishing manufacturing, so you have a set market already for that. So you'll have to justify how is your market that. And let me tell you, I might be telling the DPR for this PMEGP loan and KVIB, KVIC. But this DPR we are making will be eligible and will be helpful to you in all the loans, whether it be your MSME, any kind of MSME loan, your KVIB loans, your REGP loans. So in all the loans, even if you're bank financing, this will be the format of your DPR. So this, you just learn this DPR and you'll be good to go if wherever your client needs financing or is going for any subsidy. And even these days, if they're going for investor meets or something like that, so this is also part of the deck. They ask for these project reports. So if we learn it, we just had to do a little modification as per the requirement of the client where they will be presenting it. So accordingly, little modification here and there, and we'll be good to go. So what will the market potential, challenges and strategy of the project? We'll have to enunciate it and we'll have to explain it in total details. Capacity utilization, product and output. So what will be the capacity utilization of a project? So how much capacity? For example, we can establish a simple 1 crore project, we can establish a 100 crore project also, so it depends. But in PMEGP, since we are talking, so we'll restrict it to 25 lakh or 50 lakh. But so we'll have to tell how much capacity our units, how much will be the production capacity of our manufacturing unit or service unit, how much will be the capacity, how much will be the power utilization, because on the basis of those figures our financial statements will be made. So accordingly, we'll have to go explain each and everything and manufacturing process accordingly. Next slide. So these everything total project I've explained earlier also, but I'll also explain it again. The total cost of project, means of finance. From, see, we have told about the cost of project, but from where we'll get the means of finance. We'll have to also explain how much will be the finance. We'll have to bifurcate how much will be our own capital and how much will be we will be taking loan. So in this we have already studied that there is 5% and 10% own margin. So accordingly we'll have to bifurcate our total cost. So what will be the implementation schedule? Our EMIs will start how much, from after how much time, what will be the moratorium time, after how much time will we start paying EMIs. So estimated sales, what will be the sale price, raw material description. So these are just a part and parcel of what we did earlier. So this, the ratio analysis, break-even analysis, DSCR, cash flow statement, payback period. So this is just a breakup of all what we just discussed earlier. Next slide. Some important tips I'll be giving you for making up the perfect DPRs. Don't forget to mention the subsidy amount and specify urban or rural classification, because many times we give DPRs for KVIB for processing. So what happens is that we don't specify the subsidy amount. We specify what this will be the cost. This will be the cost of project, and this will and accordingly means of financing and own financing. But what will be the subsidy amount of it? Like we have studied, it will be 25%, 35%. In case of special category people, and in case of normal general category people, it will be 15% and 25% if they are urban and rural. But we'll have to mention whether they are in urban or a rural and subsidy amount, because officer is not going to write this for us. We'll have to explain it. They'll just see that there is nothing mentioned in the file, they'll just send it back. So accordingly, we'll have, this is a very important thing. I have seen many files of people getting rejected just because of this silly mistake. So please ensure that you don't like ignore it. We just keep it in mind to write the subsidy amount in bold. Give proper introduction of promoters if they have similar successful running businesses. Give details about them, because the more they are impressed with the promoters, more likely more likely you are going to get easier and timely loans. So give a proper introduction of your promoters and how they are running their existing business and what capabilities they have. Give proper disclosure about rate at which figures are increasing in projections. So in projections, like many of you might be also existing, also you'll be making projections for various clients. So similarly in here also in projections, you'll be making projected data for like 10 years, but in disclosures, write proper disclosure about what rate of interest, uh, what rate the figures are increasing, at what rate you are increasing every year the balance sheet figures and P&L figures, and what rate you are increasing sales and profit and everything. So you have to just give a proper disclosure so that the onlooker gets to know at what assumptions you have made. Otherwise the figures are totally vague if you haven't disclosed your assumptions. Give proper disclosure about rate of interest on banking loans, because many times what happens is that you take like 9%, 10%, but the bank says I'll give loan on 12%. So you'll have to modify the entire DPR from scratch. So first tip will be, first ask the banker tell the client to go and ask the banker what rate he'll charge on this loan. So accordingly put interest rate on that low percent only. And if you don't know that, tell him to ask average rate, and tell him to ask the average rate which is applicable in the market right now, and make assumptions accordingly, and make disclosures also. And attach proper, because this also the next point, attach proper site plans, drawings, quotation of machinery cost, because the officer will ask you from where you got all the figures, from where did you got the figures regarding machinery, your drawings, your site plan. So make tell the, because he'll, even in India Mart also these days, very easily you just put an inquiry, 4 or 5 vendors directly send you the quotations. So tell them to get the proper 4 or 5 quotations, select the vendor they are getting it from, or even if they haven't decided the vendor yet, just tell them to just the lowest or most likely the person they are going to take it from, or the most likely the cost, because we are just mainly concerned with the cost. So most likely cost they are going to get it from, take that quotation and attaches as an annexure to your DPR, and site plan and drawings also. Give proper disclosure of capacity utilization of machines. So these we have already I've discussed that disclosures regarding capacity utilization, because our unit can be of 10 lakh to 50 lakh to 10 crores. So we need to give proper disclosure on at what capacity, at what level we'll be operating, and accordingly we'll have to make factors for that. We'll have to do factoring for that. Next slide. Link of sample DPS, I think so they'll share the PPT with you. So you'll get, please go to these sites. These are government site and some are private sites. So you'll get to know some template. Many templates are there in like KVIC site. You'll have many templates. You just go there and just look at it for each project line. Matlab, I think so they have given multiple templates. Each and every project line they have covered. So you can go there and just download it. Next slide. So this is what a PMEGP portal looks like. So if you are going to start a new unit, just go and a new application for new unit, apply it. And if you are in going for a registered applicant, you are already registered and you are going for login, or you are going for input of some new data, just go for login sec. Go for login. So there are many or just like if you, some of you might be earlier doing this thing, you might know that there is EDP training also. Although we are not concerned with EDP training, the client has to do it, but that can also be done through this portal, online EDP, offline EDP, all the data they need to do, so they can do it from here. And sample project reports, if you want to download projects, you can go and you can download it. Next slide. This is how that I was earlier talking about the application. This is how the application look like on portal. Next line, next slide. So the prerequisite, I've shared it all in detail. So it can also be found on the website. Next slide. So these are all the project reports. So you can go and view from aloe vera gel project to aluminum cans. So many projects you have in this, and they are telling also how much cost, at what cost they have made it, what assumptions they have kept. So they have in detail they have made it. So you can take help of these projects as well. Next slide. Some frequently asked questions, like in case of local or state, like JK, like some these are some of the FAQs I get to. People ask me a lot about these PMEGP and all sub MSME schemes, whether can they take simultaneously both PMEGP and some, like in JNK we have JKREGP, can they claim both? No, they cannot claim both. Either they have to claim PMEGP or some other local scheme. They can't claim the both schemes at the same time. How many nexus do we need to enclose in DPR? See, it depends upon where you are applying, your local officer, and what are his requirements. The best case scenario I've already told you, include drawings, include quotations and everything. That is a best case scenario. People will ask you less only, they're not going to ask you more. How do we have to upload DPR? I've shown you portal, just fill the form and just upload it. However, uploading is a task of client. We maximum C is what they do is they just prepare DPR and they go. Uploading can be done very easily. Purpose for which DPR is needed. DPR is needed for any kind of bank financing, your investor financing, your onboarding an investor in your company, your startup, and various such things. Startup pitch desk, you're going for grants for startups. So for all those things, you need to have DPR. Can same person take 2 or more PMEG scheme for 2 or more ventures? No. Person can take only one PMEGP scheme, and after they can take a top-up loan, but that after successful running of the your project. Next. New industrial policy for J&K. So this is the MSME thing. So I'll just cover a very small part of it because I think so we are already running short of time. So I'll just cover it in very brief. Next slide, please. So in J&K, what has happened that after the abrogation of Article 370, new industrial policy has come 2021-30. So it is a game changer for industrialization in J&K. So a big amount of subsidies are being given, due to which many big players like Cadila, Cipla, many such big players, Haldiram, all have come here and established their units over here. So what all subsidies are given? The major subsidy can be classified into capital subsidy, capital interest subvention subsidy, GST linked subsidy, and working capital linked subsidy. In capital subsidy, what happens? I'll just explain in brief. I'll just not go into very details of it. So if you invest like in urban area, you're investing, or I would say in a developed area, you'll get 30% of investment in plant and machinery subject to maximum of 5 crores. So what we talked about the PMEGP, that was about small projects, small financing and small subsidies. So here the amount, it is mainly about big units. So for 30% off, and but the subsidy amount is limited to 5.5 crores, and for in undeveloped area, rural areas, I would say 50% of investment in plant and machinery, and for services sector in your building and other equipments, it will be subject to maximum 7.5 crores, 50% of your investment, but subject to ceiling is there of 7.5 crore, but still this is huge amount. So what I have calculated, it around in 1 or 1.5 year, entire investment will be compensated from the subsidies alone. 1.5 year, max to max 2 years, if you are properly running the unit, even from subsidies only. So capital interest subsidy. So what happens is that in new units, you're taking loan. So in loan also, if you're taking 8 or 9% loan, out of that 9% also, they are giving 6% back you as giving back to you as subsidy. So that is also to the extent of 500 CR. There's also ceiling on this also. So, and new unit, the major subsidy for which everybody is coming, it's a GST linked subsidy. So in GST linked subsidy, your maximum amount is 300% of investment in plant and machinery. So what happens is that you have invested like 100 CR investment, like I would small amount I'll take. You have taken a 10 CR, you have investment in plant and machinery. So up to 30 crores you can take in the GST linked subsidy, like entire. Then people ask me what happens is that total gross GST or your gross amount minus your ITC, then net payable. It is gross value. You can take entire gross value of your GST as subsidy. Then there is working capital interest subsidy. This is for existing units only, 5%. Like earlier it is 6% for new units. For the earlier units, it's a 5%. So this is a just brief. I'll not go into much details and not cover. I think next 1-2 slides are also in this new industrial policy. I'll not cover it in detail. Just a brief about this. Next slide, please. Next slide. So these are the FAQs for new industrial policy for JNK. I've covered the GST link subsidy will net amount or ITC or gross amount. I've told ITC gross amount. If I can apply, will like land be allocated? So earlier, what used to happen is that government was giving land. So but now government lands are totally exhausted. They were giving at very cheap rates, 5 lakh rupees to 6 lakh rupees canals. So I would say in people from many people areas are. So I would say 8 canals is 1 acre, I think so. So accordingly, it's so cheap. They were giving government was giving lands. So right now, like major units have come and it is exhausted, but government is again making land bank of I think so 3,000-4,000 canals. Then it will again upload it on its website, which is single window portal JNK. So it will upload everything on that, your land bank, everything, your even applications has to be done through that only. Everything is online. So next slide. Next slide.
So there's a request. If this is state specific, can you just give us a brief idea about emerging opportunities which you wanted to highlight in the area of AI?
Yeah. So in as far as AI is concerned, AI is I would say the next big thing, especially for CAs. Whether you want to go drafting or you want to go drafting for your income tax appeals, you want to go drafting for your replies to GST department, or even if you want to go drafting for your DPRs, for everything you can go and use the AI, artificial intelligence. And there's many people ask AI is equal to chat GPT. No, there's not only chat GPT, there are many such platforms, but yes, chat GPT is one of the most used, and I think so one of the most user friendly these days. That but for many other things, for like PPT you want to go for, you can go for Gamma, or if you go OpenAI, many such things have come in the market now. So if earlier if I think so I am already running short of time, otherwise I would have shown like a prompt how can we do it, like sharing screen or something. But what FAQ I'll share about that also. Some points I'll share about how we can like prepare the best reports, responses, or the output from this your AI is through giving the proper prompt. You see, your prompt should be very specific. Prompt should not be vague, or prompt should not be like delusional. Some people like give very generic prompts. So what happens is they'll have to do entire work on their own also. They're backspacing it and they're adding every data. So your prompt has to be specific, and you need to know how this AI works. So you just give certain keywords. Don't go on. And some people are go to the other extreme. They'll like write each and everything. They like write this and that. They'll go very case specific. So it will not be helpful in those circumstances. You see. So you have to just go like while studying our CA courses. So what you used to read is, what we used to remember is the keywords, because we know that institute used to give marks for keywords. So similarly, the AI is also remembers the keywords. So you just while whichever prompt you are giving, just first of all be specific and be use the keywords. So accordingly it will make a very wonderful PPT for you, or wonderful reports, or I would say replies for use. I use it quite often, and I've seen that labor of my office, like my labor and even my staff's labor has been reduced a lot. Earlier we used to spend so much time typing each and everything, and even not only this, we have even if you want to do research work, whether it be for industrial consultancy, you want to like see how much you want to see how much projects, how much subsidies are there in this thing. So what you can do is you can just write the prompt, what all government subsidies are available uh, in like for MSMEs. The AI will give you details, or you can, for if you want to go even more specific, right, what all MSME subsidies are available in like Maharashtra. So it will accordingly give you very specific, and or you can write how to how to apply for Maharashtra. This is a subsidy as per your specific area, or you can write, please make a PPT in name of your client's name, age, date, address, and what all your keywords we have studied earlier. Now, these are keywords. So write those keywords in PMEGP scheme for this year to this year and this. Accordingly, you'll get a good draft. But see, don't go with the AI totally blindly. Don't follow it. You make necessary, because we are CS. This is what we are going to pay. We are going to get paid for. We need to make necessary amendments in it and make changes as per our applicable statutes and applicable whatever guidelines you're following regarding the subsidies. So next slide. So the last slide. So anything else, any questions people have? And I think so, I due to a time constant, I couldn't cover MSME. So MSME also, as we all know, we have many such schemes for MSME. And if you want to go financing, you have Stand Up India scheme as well. So even in they also give concessional loans to women entrepreneurs and category entrepreneurs at reduced rate of interest with subsidies. So you can go even maximum. SBI and other banks branches are giving those Stand Up India loans. So if you want to go for that, you can go for that also, but simultaneously you can't take both. So if you, and for MSMEs also, what you have is you have so many schemes. Like for every state we have a nodal agency for your startup policy, for your entrepreneurs policy, and for everything. So you just identify what, like for in J&K we have JKEDI. So what happens is for MSME departments, your and your MCA and everything, they are giving lots of funds for your MSMEs. For what all benefits you can take in this is, I can list some of the major benefits. What you can take is for exhibitions, what your like your clients take your some kind of stalls or places, so all that cost will be reimbursed in that. For like for exhibitions or for some, but it will be your location specific. Like in JNK, many such support is given to us by our nodal agency. So I think so similar is happens with other, because the parent agency is the same, like MCA and other, your MSME department is giving the funds. So same benefits are being given. So if you're going to some like places, for example exhibition, so your flight tickets and everything, they are reimbursed. For example, if you are taking patents and trademarks and everything, like these, so everybody knows these days, it has been very much publicized by the MSME department. For that also, up to like specific amounts, like I think so right now it's 5,000 10,000 from the government fees, and from 5,000 I think so from your consultant fees, they are reimbursing it. So many such schemes are given by MSME department, and your the concerned nodal agencies of your startups and everything in your the concerned area. So all we need to is just explore those opportunities. So I'll share my PPTs with this was the brief one I made because I knew I will be late. So accordingly, I just shunt out the other things. So I just kept the specific things only. So I hope so. This will be very helpful for you. And the DPRs and everything is a very new genre, very enterprising genre for especially young CAs, because earlier the tax market and everything is already too much saturated and crowded. So we should go ahead and make a niche of our own, whether it be you want to go for bank financing, you want to go for industrial consultancy, your subsidies work, because here also a lot of dearth of good quality consultants is there.
So there is a request to share the links slide once again. I'll request the technical support to do that. Yeah, this is the one. And there is another question that PMEGP is it open for all?
I have already talked in detail about the eligibility
And is
criteria.
there any,
It is
is there
available in my slide also. It is available on website as well. So I'll again, if I'll go, then also we already above the time.
Okay. No, so the question, another question is that is there any yearly budget by the government, and what if the agencies tell us that the budget is fully utilized? I
So
don't know
same,
whether the participant has come across such a situation or what.
yes. Same
Yeah.
thing happens with the JNK industrial policy also. It's like
Okay.
for some of the incentives, they are telling that the budget has been exhausted and they are waiting for the next tranche or the next installment of the budget. Similarly, what we can do is, if they are telling that they have exhausted budget, so please tell them accommodate, just take they should just take your DPR and adjust your DPR in the next installment they receive, because
Okay, so
it's
the
not that the
application
budget
should
has,
be made. Application
yeah.
should be made. It should be lodged with the authority.
Yeah. So first your application is lodged, your application totally approved. As and
Okay.
when the next budget comes, it will get you'll get the subsidy amount.
Okay. Yes, the queries have been answered. In case any of the participants want to know anything else, please post your query.
And anytime anybody can, if they are facing any issues or something, they can mail me their queries or they can even WhatsApp me. So I'll reply. I always I have earlier also done a very extensive training webinar on these topics with the CP committee and many other committees. So they can anytime WhatsApp me. I'll reply to them.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We are now moving towards the end of our webinar. Ayush sir has apprised us on the important tips, important points and tips we should keep in mind for making DPRs made before industrial subsidy, made before bank loans. And we'll all find this helpful in the course of our work. I thank Ayush sir for taking out his time and helping us with these topics. And on behalf of the CP committee, I thank all the participants and both the speakers for sparing their valuable time. We'll now close this meeting, and thank you all once again for being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.